Great to have you, Nicolai.
Thank you.
We're very excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you want to come.
Yeah. So we're in a quite amazing place, and you work here every day.
Every day, yes. Yeah. But still, you never get used to this view. You know, it's every day when you come down the stairs. Yeah. There's always something new happening. Yeah. Today it's a nice view. Kind of, it's not so cloudy. Mm-hmm. But other days it can be super cloudy. It can be wind. Yeah. Other days again it can be like you can see 40 meters. Wow. It's like there's no day that's the same. It's different every day.
Perfect. Yeah, it's probably amazing to work here. We've been here setting up now for a half an hour, and we saw a bunch of fishes going by, and it was quite lovely.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't come on command yet.
Exactly.
I'm training them like my dog at home, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's not working that good because I don't have the treats for them.
Yeah. And you, Nicolai Ellitsgaard, I hope I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. So the people who don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So my name is Nicolai Ellitsgaard, and I'm a Danish chef living here in Norway now. I'm living in Norway now for 10 years, and I've been a part of this restaurant for almost 5 years, more or less. I was in this project 2.5 years before we opened, and now we have been running for 2.5 years. Yeah. So being a part of this restaurant, you know, it's like for a long time, and it feels like my little baby also, even though I'm not the big investor. No. But for me, it's like it's my little child.
Of course, yeah. I remember a couple of years ago when I was reading about this project, like restaurant, like beneath the sea. I was like, wow, they're crazy. Really, how are they gonna do this? Yeah. And then you made it happen. So tell me, like, when you decided to be a part of this project, and you're the face outwards, like, did you think in the beginning that this might not probably happen, or what did you think?
When I had the first meeting with the investors, when they called me and asked if I wanted to come for a cup of coffee, and they told me about this project, I was actually in a crossroad in my life. I didn't know if I wanted to continue cooking or if I wanted to do something else. Yeah. And I was starting to think about, okay, maybe I could, I don't know, do something else like taking care of children or...
So completely different.
So really, something totally different than food.
Wow.
Or maybe, you know, work with food and children, like teaching children how to eat and blah, blah, blah. But then when I met these guys and the two brothers, who is kind of the main investors, the Ebenezer family, they show me the pictures of digital pictures of how the restaurant would be kind of looking like, and I was like mind blown right away. And it
so
was
the vision just like appealed to you.
We talked a little bit. They talked about kind of their ambitions, what they wanted to, and they mentioned Michelin star, and that's always have been a dream for me. Yeah. And then I was like hooked right away. I was like, okay, fuck it. Where do I sign?
Wow.
Give me the paper.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, they didn't have any contract ready. They were not prepared for it either. You know, it was like, oh, okay, we just wanted to have a conversation. And still at that point, it was still like, there was a small percentage that the restaurant would not even be possible to build. Yeah. Because the project kind of cracked a couple of times. It was getting more and more expensive.
I mean, the architecture is quite interesting.
Exactly. They started, you know, with one budget, but it's exploded, you know, and that's kind of how it is also. Yeah. But anyway, at some point we found out, okay, now it's really gonna happen. Yeah. And from that day on, I started working on the menu also. And actually, from the first time I met them, it was in December 16, I think it was. And then I started thinking already about dishes that I want to cook. Yeah. And one of these dishes is still a part of the menu. Wow. But it took many months to develop also. Yeah. But it's a part of the menu now, and it's kind of one of the, I would say, more important dishes. It's kind of telling a part of our story. Yeah. And we have a couple of these dishes that have been on the menu since we opened, and probably will be forever. Yeah. As long as I'm on the, how do you say? Controlling the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
And these dishes is also really important for me, of course.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned. I felt when I entered the building, you can feel there's a lot of soul here, and the architecture and the detail is quite specific. And when you were deciding the menu, was there a lot of creative processes which you had to go through? Did you have a walk through the ocean, or like what did you do to figure that out?
Actually, yes. That was many things. Being out with fishermen, try to look at their bycatch. I was out with a fisherman, for instance, fishing for ling, and he filleted the fishes on board, but threw all the intestines and everything out in the sea. And for me, it makes no sense. You know, why don't we use the roe from such a beautiful fish when we are used to eating roe from a lot of other fishes like caviar? So actually, in the beginning, I was also in this trap that many restaurants are in, that we need to have caviar on the menu. But for me, when I start thinking more and more about it, we don't have sturgeon out here. So for me, it made no sense to have caviar on the menu when we have a lot of roe from different fishes and the menu, but it makes more sense to take things that we actually have in this part of Norway, in this region. So the project is also a lot about showing this part of Norway, like what do we have in this region?
Norway and South Norway, Lindesnes.
What can you actually find when you go out, if you go out and dive? So of course also I spend a lot of time in the water, and I'm still doing that.
Really? Diving yourself?
Diving myself.
Wow.
And I loved to dive before when I was younger, like 15, 16, like free diving, but then I kind of stopped up. I grew from it, and I started doing other things. But now, after this project, I really got it back again. So now I try to jump in the water. Before, I did it every week to forage for seaweed myself. I found out that it takes a lot of hours. We use a lot of seaweed. So now I hired a guy to do this for me. But still, once a month, I have to go out.
Feel it's important part of the project, that you are in the ocean.
Yes, feel the ocean on me again, and discover, and also following the seasons. I mean, here we can see quite good the season, of course, how it's changing, because the season underwater is changing just like on the land. But still, there's many things that we don't have outside the window here that we have maybe in a bay over there, or in a bay over there. So for me, it's really important to come out and see and discover also, to find new ingredients we can use. And also, I love to spearfish, so it's a win-win. I can do both at the same time.
Great, that we have in common. Fishing is a great mindfulness exercise.
Yes, there's nothing better than going down at the bottom of the sea, just laying there, looking for fish. I'm not a good spearfisher at all, no. But I pretend I am, and that's the most important.
Exactly. But tell me a little bit about you wanted to become a chef. So what's the story behind that? So when did you figure that out?
It was a big coincidence. I have not been this guy sitting at my mom's or grandmom's kitchen counter and watching her cooking tomato sauce and whatsoever every day. I was in school. My teacher, this was in 10th grade, maybe thought that it was not the best idea for me to go 3 year more in school to study further. It was maybe not for me. So she actually said, "Oh, you need to do something with your fingers, with your hands." And I already tried to be out as a carpenter. And it was great. It was fun. But then I tried to be a chef for 2 weeks or 1 week or something, as a part of this school program where you go out and then you try to work and see if this is something for you. And even though I have bandages all my 10 fingers almost, and cuts everywhere, it was like there was something, it was talking to me, it was something that I could see myself doing the rest of my life.
At that point, you felt something.
I felt something. I didn't have any high expectations about myself or my own skills or whatsoever.
So at this time you didn't think, I want to be a Michelin chef? That was not in your mind?
I didn't even know what the fucking Michelin star is. It's like...
what is about that Michelin star?
They're selling tires, right?
Exactly.
For me, it was... I didn't know what it was. But I got an apprenticeship at a restaurant, actually a hotel.
In Denmark.
In the northern part of Denmark, where there was a sous chef there who helped me a lot developing my skills, and also trying to help me find my path. And I remember he asked me once, he said this, "Okay, so Nicolai, what do I actually want to get out of this education?" And I was like, I'm from a fishing village, you can say there's only 30,000 people living there, and it was like, straight from my heart, I just want to get education. And I saw just this disappointment in his face. I was like, fuck, I have to change the answer fast. So I stripped around and said, okay, then I want to be the best. And from that day on, I kind of worked every day to make myself better. I always do better and better and better and progress.
Was that a turning point, like in your life, that okay, you're not just getting the education, you want to be best in what you do and being a chef?
I got this question 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm still remembering it.
Yeah.
I remember we were standing next to the table where we made bread and the ice cream machine.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it was a really important question.
Yeah. So that's a part of your ambition, that one thing is doing the best meal and participating in the project, but you want to do it properly and be the best.
Yeah, at that point, but I think be the best chef is something that doesn't really exist, because who decides who's good and who's not?
Yeah.
But I want to always do the best that I can, and be, of course, like things I get older and things change also. I want also to be the better person for my staff.
Yeah.
And not be this asshole just like standing and screaming.
No.
So I want to do the best I can with cooking, and I want to be the best person I can for my staff, family, and all these things.
So that the concept a little bit evolved then, like not just to the cooking, but it's actually, I see the many people in the kitchen now, very close to the kitchen, and you are their leader. That becomes a part of it, that you're managing people the right way. Is that part of your goal as well?
Yes, exactly. And also I have to take care of the front of us. Yeah. At the same time, so coming from kind of, I have no leadership education at all. No. And suddenly you are in charge of maybe 30 staff members and 10 internships. Yeah. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things to think about. It's a lot of course, it's stressful, because you always have to think about, are people happy? Yeah. Are they not happy? Why are they not happy? What can I do to change so they will be happy? Yeah. Is it just a small thing? Is it a personal thing that I cannot fix? Many things. And it's always like I told before we started the camera, it's like, it's normal for persons to work at this kind of level of a restaurant for maybe 1 year, maximum 2. Yeah. So you always have to kind of be in touch with your staff and try to be in their mind. It's difficult, it's impossible. But like after the 9th, 10th month they're here, you need to kind of have a serious chat with them about, okay, what are they thinking about next year? And this is something that I have not been the best to, but I have learned now. Yeah. It's been a huge learning progress for me, this restaurant, that I need to take more care of this also. I need to be better to spot if people are happy or unhappy. Yeah. So it's
an interesting topic that you discovered that's important part of the journey. So and how did you change that? I mean, do you watch people's faces more carefully? Like, how do you determine or wonder if someone might be unhappy? Like, what are the clues you're looking for?
It can be many things. But it's about knowing the people that you have hired actually, because if he's always normally telling jokes and having a good time dancing to the music, when they have music in the kitchen, we don't have now because of the television. But when we have, if they're normally in good mood, and suddenly if they are not happy for maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
Some change in mood.
Some changes in the mood, then you really need to think about, okay, this guy, he probably needs to get something from his chest. And
do you then have one-on-one talks? Do you think, should we have a coffee? Should we sit here, talk a little bit about how things are going? Or?
I normally don't do it here because then everybody can see we have this talk. So normally I will take them up to the mezzanine or take them outside, take a little walk down to the beach or something like that. Just to to get a conversation where they don't have to sit here and you can basically hear what people are saying down there.
Exactly.
So it's easier to take them outside because sometimes we have many different people here with many different backgrounds. Some of them have some really strong stories.
Yeah, I see. And it's a good point as well. Like if people ask in front of others, "Are you okay?" Then of course everyone say,
okay.
"Yes, I'm fine. Yeah, sure, I'm fine." Yeah. Okay, interesting.
It's just energy.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not energy.
Yeah. I see. So, but you told me when you were at the crossroads, like when we were thinking about doing something totally different, and then you kept on. And I sensed, I don't know, but I sensed like that you were tired of what you were doing. So that's why. What happened then? Were you too long in the industry, or what happened?
I think maybe it was a mixture of. Also to be more present at home, and actually had a job it was a great job, I could do what I wanted also in the kitchen. I could kind of choose my own menus and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were not too many staff. I didn't have to really care about so much personal stuff from other people than myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just like, I lost it kind of. I lost the fire in me.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because that I always, deep in my mind, after the conversation I had with my sous chef back then for many, many years ago, that I never really achieved what I kind of wanted to achieve. Yeah. If you know what I mean. And then
you weren't your best version in the kitchen.
That point, you know, I was just like present in a kitchen, and the place had, of course, ambitions, but not the ambitions that I maybe had years before. Yeah. And I think maybe that's why I maybe wanted to get out of it, and also because, of course, you know, being a family man and working like this, it's not really the best combination. No. You have to find a balance. Yeah. And still I'm not good at that, but no. Probably, hopefully it will come one day. I see. But I think maybe that was one of the things, you know, but then when you get a chance like this, if you don't grab it, if I didn't grab it that day, I will probably regret it the rest of my life. Yeah. You know, it's like, fuck it, say yes, be in it, see how it is for a year or two. Now for me, you know, as I said, this is my baby. It's like, if I have to give this restaurant to another chef, there will be many tears. That's also because, you know, I've taken so much care of this restaurant and trying to take care of everybody here. Yeah.
You've been from the start.
I've been in from the start. I could kind of also say what I've thought about the table and the chairs, and I've designed the table where, you know, all this. I could kind of say my opinion about it. Yeah. I don't know if they listen. It's not, of course, but nobody is like. Yeah. I could say what I thought about it, you know, and it was really, really cool. It was a nice experience to work with such professional people and being involved in it. Yeah. You know, not that I said this is ugly, this we cannot do, but I was like learning and listening to the stories. Why are we doing this? Yeah. Like the wood, for instance, you know, it's coming 5, 6, 7 kilometers from here. It's local oak. Yeah. It's important stories. It's my menu should also be really local, you know. So everything is kind of it mixed together really nice, I think. Yeah,
I see. So, and the topic you touched upon, like a little bit tired of being a chef some years ago. We know both in research, and I've seen it as a psychologist for many years, that the interest of being a chef, it is very stressful.
Yes.
So tell us about that a little bit from your experience. What do you, from your perspective and experience, what do you think are the most stressful factors being a chef?
The most, that is impossible to say, because I'm also really picky on the small things. Yeah. If mackerel come in and it's not perfect for me, I don't think anything is perfect. I think that if you reach perfectness, if you think something is perfect, then you have given up, or you're simply an idiot. Yeah. So, but as close as perfect as possible. If a mackerel come in and is not perfect in that sentence, it's it can ruin my day, you know, because then I need to stress with finding a new mackerel. Then I have to call the fish supplier. Yeah. He's maybe 1 hour from here. Then I have to call the fish supplier from over there. Yeah. That is closer. Maybe he has some, you know. That's suddenly I have to call 3 different fish landings to try to see if I can get new mackerel.
So when you experience the quality of standards of the food, which you don't control because you're then reliant on the supply, if you see that the quality is not there, then that is a high stress for you.
For me, yes. Yeah. And then also, of course, problems with the staff. If there's someone having, like we talked about, a really bad day, you kind of get a little bit stressed about, okay, what can I do to fix this? Yeah. And when that person say, okay, you know what, my granddad, he just died, I have to go. Yeah. And when they say that, they mostly never come back because they have to go maybe to Spain, Italy, Singapore, you know, they have to travel a long distance.
Yeah, you have a lot of international staff.
So everybody's international. We have only, like me as a Dane and then one Norwegian person hired, you know, in the front of house. And in the kitchen, everybody is from abroad, from many different countries. Yeah. So when they have to go away, they will, maybe some of them can travel the day after or 2 days after or something, but then they go. they spend time with their family, they find out this is the right to do for them right now, which I totally understand. And then the stress starts, then I need to find someone to cover his position.
Yeah, replacing that person and keeping the quality again and running.
So then you kind of have to teach a new person.
Yeah.
So there's many stressful things in a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's not so stressful for me to have the service and the guest.
No.
For me, it's the stress.
Yeah, it's often that people think that the complaints from guests and other that's stressful, but that's not for you.
No. For me, of course, if they complain, it's not fun.
No.
But for me, it's what's happening on the day until 6 o'clock, because I think from 6 o'clock, when we have the guests coming in, we can control the evening.
Yeah.
Because
then that's under your control, because
then it should be under our control.
Yeah.
So then I'm more relaxed.
Yeah.
But in the daytime, up to the service, that's where the stress is.
Yeah, interesting to hear, because I think most people who haven't worked in the industry, including me, would assume that the most stress factors are during the highest activity of the service. But you're explaining, no, it's not. It's before.
Probably for some other chefs it is, but we have good systems to follow. We have many chefs, and they have their responsibility.
Yeah.
And then I have someone to control that he's doing his job. And then, of course, I'm on the top of the chain and controlling that they're doing their job also. So it's like one chef have maybe 3-4 dishes to take care of. And that's what he's specialist in. And that's also the problem comes when we have to replace him, because then he have developed his system, his own techniques. Maybe he have changed a small thing in how to... we make some difficult things, of course, but how he's maybe whipping a cream around in a mold to make it looks perfectly like a limpet. It's something that is in your hand. It's he's kind of how do you say, like Picasso, he's an artist.
Yeah.
And teaching that to another guy is barely impossible, because he had to practice himself to learn it.
So it becomes
so for me, it's more the stress is more about what's going on the day before the guest comes.
I see. Okay, and then you mentioned as well, like there was a period in your life when you were trying to balance work and family life or private life, and you define yourself as family man, or like.
I have a girlfriend and a dog, and the dog is kind of my kid also.
Okay, I see. So you have 2 kids, the restaurant and the dog.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So something has changed, because you're happy now, and then people would assume that this is still a very stressful place to work. But
yes, of course.
But you talk about that you are in a good place now. So what did you change to get the balance right? For
me, the biggest change probably came when my work became my hobby and a lifestyle. Yeah.
So you don't think of this as work?
No, it's not work.
No, exactly.
It's for me, sitting and talking with you now is like it's a normal day. I could do this also if it was a Sunday at 3 o'clock with a glass of wine. It would still be the same for me. I don't think things as work so much anymore. No, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. I see. So that changed a little bit with more passion and more engagement. The more heart to the work you were doing, then things changed. Is that yes.
What happened? Maybe.
Yeah. And also, of course, when we changed from having open 5 days to 4 days, that's a big.
Was that a big change?
That's a big change for the staff. Yeah. Because they don't, of course, have the same place in their hearts as I have for this restaurant. Of course, they have a place in their hearts when they're working here, but when they choose to leave, it's after 1 year or 2 years. Yeah. There's another place in their heart, And this, for me, this place will always be in my heart.
I see. Okay. And then you talked a little bit about like daily routines and methods which you do, which is also helping you being at your best, diving, fishing. And then you talked about as well that you have a routine sometimes after the workday or after the shift is done. Yeah. What do you do after a shift?
I have 30 minutes home by car. Yeah. So I jump in the car and then I listen to whatever music I want, and then you have these 30 minutes to just kind of relax. Yeah. And think about the day. Yeah. Then when I come home, I can go directly into bed and sleep and get the sleep I need instead of just sitting up. Many chefs are sitting up all night watching stupid television on Netflix. Of course, I do that sometimes also, but But when I come home, I'm kind of prepared to go to bed.
Yeah. So that's a routine you purposely thought about. It's good for you. Winding down in the car, then you would just want to go to sleep.
Yeah. Then listening to some good music, and it can change from day to day whatever I want.
I see. So some people in the industry have often talked about like you have higher availability to alcohol or food, and that is pros and cons, I assume. So, and some I've talked with in the industry, like after a shift, they would like have a couple of glasses of wine or beer, and that in the end becomes a routine, and then suddenly you're stuck in a. For some, you're stuck in a spiral. So has that been sometimes the case years before that?
Oh yes, yeah. Years before, yes. Yeah. Years before, I was also partying a lot after work.
After shift, yeah.
After the shift, yeah. But now, it's the last couple of years I have not had that. I didn't really want it to.
You changed that.
I changed that, and then also actually another thing we did with the restaurant is normally at many restaurants you sit after work and get some beers together and kind of party at some places. Yeah. But this I really don't like, so it's like when we are done here, if we have some leftover wine, they can get it, and then they have to go home to their own houses. Yeah. And if somebody wants to have a party, they can, but it should not be like that people feel that they are kind of engaged, can you say that? To be contributing to this party, even though they maybe just want to go home and sleep.
Interesting point you come up with, and then your personal reflections and style also influences how you manage. Because so in that case, if it's expected of people that everyone should join after the shift and drink,
it kind of is.
Yeah, and sometimes people just want to go home. Yeah, and they're tired, and then if you would be the one wanted to party, then probably people would be there because they're afraid not to, or something like that.
Maybe you don't know, but I'm not partying so much.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. And the dog, does he play a big role?
The dog?
The dog in helping you. You talk very positively and lovely about him.
Yeah, when I come home, it's nice to lay on the floor and say hello. He's always sleeping when I come home, of course. So it's always nice when I come home and lay on the floor together with him and just like.
Yeah, I see. Now I probably will get a negative SMS from your girlfriend because I asked about the dog before I asked about her.
He comes first,
Okay, so but you talk lovely about her and you're thinking family, and have you been together for a long time?
Yes, I thought it was 8, but it's 7 years. I found out when we had the 8 years. I said congratulations with the 8 years, and then she said it's 7.
No,
but I remember the date. so I think I was excused.
I hope she has a good humor, so she wasn't. Okay, that's great. Okay, so 7 years. 7 years it is. Okay, and is she proud of you?
Is she proud of me?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. It's like I really think she is, because she liked to talk with friends about me and the project also, but it's a difficult question.
No.
I don't ask are you proud of me?
No,
it's like
correct, yeah. So and being in a relationship with a chef, it's different hours, and then when there's full activity here, there's a little bit different lifestyles for couples who have one of them are chef or in the industry. So have you had talks about that your lifestyle is a little bit different than typical others? And
of course. Yeah. But she also see how happy I am about what I do. Yeah. And maybe how unhappy I would be if I had to take care of kids. Yeah. So I think also she see the value in having me happy when I'm actually home. Yeah. And before I was not so good at being present when I was home because the phone is calling and blah blah. Yeah. Now I'm better at just putting it aside and okay, it's not so important to talk with the vegetable supplier on a Sunday evening maybe.
Yeah, I see.
When we just chit chat because we're good friends.
Yeah, I see. So and since you've been together for many years, she can also maybe see the changes. Now you're more happy than before, and then
for sure, for sure,
you're more present at home.
Yeah,
it's strange.
I would say so myself.
Yeah, okay. We would have to reference check with her and the dog
as sure.
well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's interesting often how that plays is that some people would assume, it's a logical assumption that more work equals more stress. But in your case, not, because now you're working a lot, but still you're in better balance.
I think so.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid, this, but if I go to work one day and work only 6 hours, if it happens, when I go to work, since work is still my lifestyle, but for me, it doesn't feel like I've really been to work.
No.
So I think that's where I also found out that this is a lifestyle I'm living, actually.
I see. So, and we talked a little bit about it before, mental health. And of course, you know, we are very passionate about that. And we talked about the staff and how they have been doing. Have you had, throughout the years, experience with staff who you have seen have mental issues, for example, depression, anxiety, or alcohol addictions?
All of them.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay. I hope not all the staff, but all the problems.
No, but I mean like all the, I have seen many different things.
Many different things.
And it's really sad, also drug abuse, and now it's not so common anymore as it was before in the restaurant industry, or at least not people I know. Yeah. But it's sad when you see these things. Yeah.
We hear that a lot with people who have been having responsibility of employers and groups of employees, like 30, 40 people. We know, for example, by statistics, every year there's 1 in 10 with depression, and we know this is the largest health issue we have. So we're not surprised, or me as a psychologist, but often people don't realize it. So can you share some stories about your experience with people who have had issues in the kitchen?
It's difficult to. What should you say? And
for example, if you see,
I worked with one guy once when I was not there. I was a head chef. Yeah. I was assistant head chef at a restaurant. Yeah. And suddenly he just didn't came to work, Yeah. And we know that he was a little bit depressed. But when he didn't show up to work, first day, second day, third day, you kind of get worried. Yeah. Especially when you cannot get in touch with him. Yeah. So we actually went home to his apartment. He was gone, he had packed all his things and he was gone.
He just left.
Yeah. And years after, he contacted me and said, okay, I'm sorry it happened like this, but I had some problems, but I'm okay now. Yeah. But you're still really worried about that person when things like this happen, because you hear stories in the industry, what many industries most likely, but also this industry is having a backside of the medal. Yeah. That I think there's quite a high suicide range also for leaders in the restaurant industry. And it's really sad to hear about that. And but I don't know how you could change that. It's a difficult thing, because I think often it's leaders, and then there's kind of no one to look out for them. Most likely, and then you don't really see it before it's too late. Yeah,
good point of reflection, and for many, of course, as we talked about, high turnover. There are many people with high ambitions. All the people working here, they want to, of course, maintain the Michelin status and the quality, and then they have to move on their career and learn as much as they can while they're here. So it sounds like a challenging environment, challenging career.
Yes, it is. It's like you work hard, get not so good paid most likely, and you do this because of your ego. It is an ego. Yeah. You want to be better and better every day. Yeah. When you are at a place, you think, now I have learned everything I can learn here. You move to a new place to learn even more. Yeah. And then you move on. Yeah. And I'm glad that many, it's crazy to say that now already after only 2.5 years, but we have had people working here who after this, they stepped in to open their own restaurants. Wow. And that makes me really happy.
Then you become happy.
I become happy on their behalf. Yeah. Even though maybe we have had our discussions during their work relationship here, but when I see they are getting success with what they are doing after this, it makes me really happy. Yeah.
Must be proud then you think that, okay, what they have learned here, you gave them confidence and skills that they believe.
Hopefully advices also,
Yeah, great to hear. And like now you talk about a little bit new change of policy when it comes to that you're the chef. You're focus more on being a kinder manager. Can you share your thoughts about that? Like how you change the style towards people?
I don't think it helps screaming and yelling all day long. Because I did that before, and when you see the people, then they're shaking. Yeah. And people.
So you actually screamed before? Yeah.
Yeah, I did that before.
It's maybe this like the industry model. Everyone thinks you see Gordon Ramsay's show, and then it's like
you have to do like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when I see how much better people are actually performing without doing this, but rather go to them, hey, this we cannot serve. Yeah. Okay, chef, I'm sorry, and then they are kind of. This is also a little bit mind psychology, I think, where you kind of put people and they see you disappointment instead of see your anger. I think that's stronger. Yeah. And I never get personally about it. Of course, it's we are doing this because we want to do the best for the guest. They're coming to pay a lot of money. Yeah. But I think it helps more, and hopefully it's more healthy for the team and everybody around. That you are not just picking someone. Okay, today you will be my zebra if you're a lion, and I'm gonna go on you all day. Yeah. I don't think that helps. No. Also, it will show the others that, fuck, when is it my turn?
Yeah. So controlling by fear in the kitchen doesn't
no,
help.
I don't think so. But I think
do you have
mutually respect for each other. They have respect for me. I have respect for them. Yeah. I teach them as much as I can. Yeah. And then do the best that they can. And then if there is an issue that we need to fix, we fix it together instead of yelling. Yeah. Then we get it fixed faster. Yeah. And better. Yeah. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's very interesting that you say. And what you describe here, creating psychological safety around in the staffing environment is positive. So okay.
But we do also to control problems in service when we have the guest. We do every day 30 minutes where I do a tasting together with one of the sous chefs. Where I taste and look at everything they have done the entire day. So if there's something that is not good enough to serve, we can take it out already there without anybody getting disappointed or angry. Because then we can just remove it and okay, you need to make one more.
Yeah, so it's not personal either. It's like this objective you're tasting, and who made it or who doesn't matter.
No, it's they have all the same value. For me, it's.
What made you change that strategy towards people? Was it something happened which was an eye opener, or?
I don't know. Actually, it's just maybe who I want to be as a person and a chef. Yeah. And I remember I worked at a place, of course, where. It was like the chef, he picked out a person and then you're the, how do you call it, like the zebra today. Yeah. And for me, it didn't really help anything, No. It made people insecure. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, when I get my own restaurant, I don't want to be like this. But of course, the first couple of years I was like this. Yeah. But stupid things, But then I got friends with my chefs also. The people working for me, I got friends with them. Yeah. And now, that was a former restaurant. Now they are, my closest friends also. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, this was a good strategy. So when we build this restaurant, I want to do the same. Yeah. I will most likely not get the same personal connection with the guys here because they're here for 1 year, maybe 2, and then they live abroad. They go to somewhere else. But I still think we will have a friendship. Yeah. But it's not the guy that I, hang out with every Sunday or Monday. No. But you get a friendship. And you can always contact them if you need something. So building personal relations. Yeah. By that you discovered, looking back, that okay, the yelling strategy is not good. No, I don't think so. Yeah. Sounds very good. I would have to come here again definitely and eat here. I'm so fascinated by everything around here and seeing the kitchen and here it's
quite mind blowing.
Thank you.
But I felt as well, like sitting here, the relaxing environment. So the architecture firm must have done a very good job as well.
Yes.
Is it just me, or is it very relaxing here?
No, it is super relaxing sitting here. And now this is just me talking blah blah maybe. Yeah. But I think I heard something about that. The reason the stair is going as it is, and where it is located, where it is, it's something to do with that people, when they come down underwater, they don't feel claustrophobic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. I thought about that entering, that okay, it's below the sea. At first, it's like you think it's a little bit scary, but yeah, how it's constructed is a little bit. It's not directly under, but it's slowly. You're slowly getting there. Yeah.
It's warm and feel safe, and the atmosphere is good, and also the acoustic is good. They did an amazing job. You know? Yeah. They know also. I tell them every time I meet them.
Yeah, that's great. So looking back on the choices you made in your life and career, would you want to change anything?
Yes, there's one thing I would change actually. Since now I am in charge of these 20-30 people who all come from like Michelin restaurants with 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 stars around the world. And I have only worked at 1 Michelin star restaurant in my entire career. This is this one. Yeah. You know, so I kind of wished that I had done an internship or 2, or actually applied for a job at a Michelin restaurant just to try and see how it was before I jumped into this. Yeah. I've learned a lot of things.
Yeah, you had to learn a lot above
and I think that would have been both negative and positive for me also. Because maybe if I came to a restaurant where things was just like and you will be treated as shit, maybe I would absorb that and do the same. Yeah. So I think also in the positive side, that since I didn't do it, I don't know how they behave at restaurants like this. I behave in what I think is the best. Yeah. So, but of course, I actually a little bit regret I didn't do it.
Yeah. It's a good reflection. And have you done anything today to get that experience, which you think that you maybe would have wanted back then?
I cannot do that now. No. It's I have to be here only and only here. Yeah.
But getting feedback from the best chefs and others, then you become better yourself.
You know, suddenly with this restaurant, you become a part of a network. Yeah. And you get to know people who have 2 stars and 3 stars, and going to symposiums around the world. I've been so lucky to travel around for this restaurant before we opened, and also during a closed time we had here, I was lucky to go abroad to make a speech about the restaurant. They meet people. Wow. You meet other chefs and other people in the industry. Yeah. And then you kind of get it in this network. Yeah. And that helps me a lot also, because I can ask someone, you know, I can ask a 3-star Michelin chef from Italy that normally you would never dare to ask a question. How are you doing this? Yeah. How does this work for you? Yeah. And he will say, okay, Nicolai, I'm doing like this and that, and this really helps for me. Yeah. That was a cool perspective. Yeah,
great, getting feedback from them. Yeah. Yeah. And you coming from Denmark, living in Norway, is it an important thing for you to spending time in Denmark, or how is that part of your life now?
I feel more Norwegian now, actually. Yeah. For me, Norway is my home.
Don't you think your Danish family is going to be disappointed to hear that?
My mom, she loves Norway, so I think it will be good. She's like also 50% Norwegian, so
okay. So you're safe then.
Norwegian. Yeah, I'm super safe.
I'm from Iceland. If I would say that, I would get a lot of things.
You would?
But
the thing I mostly miss with Denmark is my friends, you know. Yeah. My friends from when I grew up. Yeah. But now, thank you for Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and all these things, social media.
Keep in contact.
You can keep contact so easy. Yeah. You know, suddenly there popped up a child there. Oh, one more there. You know.
Yeah, and having a boat over to Denmark, it takes a couple of hours.
Yeah. It's been difficult now, of course, because of the COVID. But I was not much home before either, but
No.
maybe 2 times a year.
I see.
But now, when me and my girlfriend are thinking about, making a bigger family maybe at some point.
Yeah, getting another dog maybe. Or...
Maybe another dog or child. You never know,
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, then it would be nice if we would go more to Denmark and visit my family, my friends. But for now, it's like I'm okay.
Yeah, fine with that. Yeah.
1-2 times a year in Denmark is okay for me.
Yeah. And on the COVID now, when I talk to many people who are in industries which have been more affected than others, and clearly restaurant industry is one of those.
Yes.
Must have been a challenging time.
Oh, that was also really challenging.
Yeah.
A lot of our staff didn't, have been in Norway long enough to get welfare from Norway to get paid by NAV.
Yeah.
And then we kind of kept the staff here and said, okay, we're gonna close. I remember still the first day when it happened, but we closed the restaurant and we said to the staff, okay, this is probably gonna take 2 weeks to stay and everything will be good and we'll find something to do together, but we should still not be more than 5 people together and blah, 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 all these things. They're all living in staff houses, with maximum 4 people, so it would be they're kind of their own little group. But when it turned out to be 2 months, it was not easy. So what we actually chose to do was like the people that didn't get any money, from the government, but we helped them. Those who was lucky to get money, we helped them with all their papers. It was a big work.
Yeah.
I was speed calling the office, at the NAV all the time, and then those who didn't kind of earn the money enough to get paid by now, we kind of covered.
Yeah, you helped out.
We helped out. And then we did the same on the second closer. So that's not nice numbers at the budget, but we feel better with ourselves because we kept those people staying here instead of they traveled home to their family. A lot of them missed their family, of course. And actually, I remember one of my Italian chefs, he said that actually his mom called and said, stay in Norway no matter what. Don't come to Italy. Yeah. So we were lucky here, especially in this part of Norway. We were not in Oslo. We are in the countryside. Yeah, I see. Ocean side.
Yeah. So you're happy. Everyone behind the restaurants happy with those decisions today. That you're proud.
We're proud of what we did and that we took the right decision. Right decision to close as one of the first in Norway. Yeah. And also that we had the chance to help our staff members. And that's, for me and for the owners, it was really important. That
taking care of people.
Taking care of people, because that's the biggest job for me and the owners is to take care of all those people coming from abroad. To a little area in Norway where there's maybe living 3,000 or 5,000 people. There's nothing here.
Exactly.
There's one shop and a Thai restaurant. That's also the pub.
Exactly. I was there yesterday, by the way. It was very
amazing
nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The spring roll is fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, great. And looking forward, if we vision a couple of years ahead, 3-5 years ahead. So, what are your goals? And the restaurant goals.
It's always difficult to talk about goals and ambitions and what you want in the future, but of course it would be nice if we could kind of get a more sight into the ocean and teach our guests much more about what we have in the ocean, like what we already do now. Slowly, we use ingredients that no one else is using, like bycatch, also from langoustine fishing industry and stuff. But I would like to showcase much more of this part of Norway to show that there is more in the ocean than the most common fish people think of as salmon and cod, most likely. There is much more, and also super interesting and really flavorful and delicious fish. And then, of course, getting the chance to work closer, even closer than what we do now, to a couple of different fishermen, so we can control the quality of the fish much better. Yeah.
So that's important,
For me, it's super important. The quality is everything.
And then your stress will be also much better if you can manage that.
Most likely higher. No, that's kind of, I would really like if we could showcase more and also to maybe not only to the guest that's actually dining in the restaurant maybe tonight or tomorrow, but also to the guest that's maybe planning to come in a year or two, or people who's saving money to come in 5 years. You know, it's a lot of people is saving up money to come here, and that's also why we need to always deliver the best that we can to them, because they have saved a lot of money for a long period maybe, and it's really important and respect for them to give them the best. And then if you can educate them at the same time, it's fantastic, I think.
Sounds like a very, very good goal, and great to hear that you focus so much about the locality of the things, and the seafood in general. So, and in the private life, what kind of goals, if I may ask, do you have there?
Off the record or?
Off the record. Off the record.
Of course, I want to. At some point, I would like to be a dad, of course. A real dad, not for a building.
No, I see.
And
that's important for you.
Yeah, it's important for me to. It's always been a thing that I really wanted, and also like before I get too old, so I can actually maybe, if I'm lucky, have grandchildren. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I have such a good connection to my grandparents that I really want to try that as well. Of course, then maybe my work situation and this lifestyle and equal kind of trip I have, we probably have to change a little bit. But for sure, this kid is not gonna eat McDonald's.
No, exactly. So at least bring him in, educating the children about the food. That is important for you.
So, it's.
Becoming a dad, at least then you would have three children, a restaurant, a dog, and then
the kid. Hopefully, it will be easy to choose who's number one. I hope. Exactly.
Well, Nicolai, it's been wonderful to talk to you today, and I hope you enjoyed it the same level as I did. And I will definitely tell you I will come back here again.
I'm glad to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.